Now at 9, Miami high school students protest the reassignment of a high school resource officer. Plus, Pitt State gives students a chance to network with local businesses. And Pittsburgh Public Library is giving banned books a spot on the bookshelf.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I am Amber Jenkins. Today, Miami Public High School students and parents protested against last week's reassignment of the school's resource officer. KOM Yana Hatala was at the protest and spoke to them and the police chief about what will happen.
Students as well as parents at Miami High School are protesting about their school officer being reassigned. Students say for many he was much more than just an officer.
He held a barbecue and invited everyone that wanted to go. I mean, if you needed a ride and didn't have a ride, he would take you home.
He even took me in, and I lived with him for a year. He's an amazing person in general, and there's not a time that he doesn't show that he loves you.
Allegedly, a video taken inside the school resulted in Miami police officer Derek Sparks' reassignment. Sparks worked as a school resource officer for Miami schools for 5 years.
Sparks got fired from when 2 girls touched his butt, when it wasn't his fault, but they still fired him. Everybody said that he didn't do anything wrong, but they all said that he did. Confidential matter, and they cannot discuss it. That's what they said to the girls that did it, because they even went to the administration and said that it was their fault, not theirs.
Students are demanding more answers about why he was removed.
I mean, what are you going to do to some young teenagers? I mean, just doing a little video. I mean, no harm was done. I mean, he told them to quit, they quit. And I mean, he shouldn't have lost his job. He's been an inspiration to all these kids. He's kept them out of trouble. When they're down, he goes and picks them up. And when they try to skip school, he goes and gets them.
In a statement, Superintendent of the schools, Nick Highsmith, said the safety of their students is their top priority and they will not discuss it any further. Miami Police Chief Thomas Anderson told me the request to remove Officer Sparks was the school's decision. Sparks continues working for the city.
We still have officers available there to protect our students, and we just want to maintain a good partnership with the school district. And unfortunately, we've had to replace those. Derek was very committed to the children, very compassionate, did a great job in that role, and I think he'll continue to do a great job on patrol.
In Miami, Yana Hatala, KOAM News.
The police department says the officer Sparks was never under investigation and is not accused of any wrongdoing. Students say they started a petition in support of Sparks' return. They have almost 700 signatures. Doug Hetty joins us with the first look at weather.
Well, of course, another hot one for us today. We've been near record highs over the past several days, and again today 98, record high of 99 set back in 1954, so we almost made it. We should be topping out at about 80 for this time of the year. In fact, our normal high, we're above that still right now. 81 in Stockton, 77 in Miami, 81 in Pittsburgh. Monette is sitting at about 79 degrees. We have clear skies, but you can see thunderstorms up across north central parts of Kansas. That's our next storm system that is going to head toward us. These won't make it here tonight, but we are going to see some chances increasing as we get into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. 6 a.m. about 73, 81 by 9, 92 by the noon hour, near 100 again. We're going to talk about cooler temperatures, rain chances here in just a bit.
Donald Trump's approval rating in Missouri appears to be roughly the same now as it was in the 2020 election. KOM is partnering with other TV stations in Missouri that are owned by Gray Television for a series of polls on a variety of races and topics. The latest poll asks voters who they'll support if the two are the presidential nominees in 2024. Donald Trump has the support of 52% of registered voters in the state compared to the 35% for Joe Biden. Donald Trump polls better among men than women, but tops President Biden for both groups. Joe Biden leads slightly in Missouri's urban and suburban areas, but Donald Trump racks up a big majority in rural areas. There's also a big racial disparity. Donald Trump wins among white voters and Joe Biden wins among black voters. The poll of 1,000 Missouri's adults was conducted from September 19th through the 22nd. It has another demographic breakdowns and also looks at the percentage of various groups of Missourians are registered to vote. You can find more results at komnewsnow.com. Pittsburgh State University School of Technology is hosting Company Days. Company Days started as a one-day event, but now expanded to 2 days. KOM Carrie Wharton talks with company owners and students about this event.
Company Days, it's something that sets Pitt State apart.
Company Days is a 2-day event held at Pitt State School of Technology. The first day is focused on construction, wood, technology, and graphics and imaging. The second day is focused on engineering, technology, and automotive.
Developed this originally with 4 companies, and the goal was to get students connected to companies before they graduate.
We're looking for a safety intern at Ag Partners Co-op, and we're an agricultural cooperative in Northeast Kansas, and have a safety department, and we're looking to expand that.
Lieutenant Governor David Tolan was the keynote speaker and spoke about the opportunities that exist for people working in construction, not only to work, but build a life in Kansas.
You can't go from table to table and not notice that many of the recruiters that are here with these companies are Pitt State grads. And so it's a lot of fun for me to meet them. It's a lot of great opportunity for them to connect with current students and offer them kind of a hand up to an opportunity like they had back in the days.
With around 261 companies over the 2 days, Pitt State is looking to expand Company Days to a 3-day event next year to give students more opportunities to talk with businesses.
They want to see you. They want to talk to you. They're not wanting to, you're not having to talk to them. They want to talk to you, and they provide so many opportunities to just, whether it be internships or for a future employment, it's just awesome.
I just came from one of the employers said, you know what we love about your students is we get students from other colleges and universities, and they're great, but they want to come and maybe supervise. Your students come and do the work.
In Pittsburgh, Carrie Worthen, KOM News.
The second day of Company Days is held tomorrow from 8:30 to 2. Arvis Bank today made a donation to help local students. The bank donated $5,000 to Missouri Southern Foundation as a scholarship fund in the names of Corporal Ben Cooper and Officer Jake Reed, 2 Joplin police officers who were killed in the line of duty in March. That scholarship will go to students pursuing a criminal justice degree at Missouri Southern.
We remember the sacrifices that both of these guys made. But at the same time, while we remember it, we honor the sacrifice that they made. And this allows us to put in place students that can hopefully carry on the legacy that these 2 officers had.
The scholarship money was donated on behalf of the Arvis Foundation. Pittsburgh Public Library is a safe haven for banned books during this week. During Banned Book Week celebrates the freedom to read and highlights the attempts to ban or censor books. Challenges to books in libraries and schools range from language to social injustices.
We just try to highlight that and show that the harm of censorship and that books should be available to everyone. This year's Banned Books Week theme is Books Unite Us, Censorship Divides Us. So Banned Book Week just draws attention to the harms of censorship.
In addition to Banned Book Week, September is also National Library Card Signed Up Month. We also take a time to honor tonight's 4-state hero. Sergeant Bob Hoggart, a native of Dennis, Kansas, served in the Army from 2003 to 2004. He served in Kuwait in the 243rd Quartermaster Battalion Unit. He was awarded National Defense Service and a Global War on Terrorism Medal. To Sergeant Bob Hoggart, we thank you, our 4-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later in sports, honor rolls in for a Missouri Southern distant runner comeback performance.
Well, of course, a super hot day for us once again today. Near record highs as we topped out at 98 during the afternoon. Clear skies most of the day. We still have clear skies. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Look at the heat. Going back to Saturday, low to mid 90s, set a record Sunday, 97 yesterday, 98 for us today. We should hit 98 or 99 once again as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. It's still warm. It's 81 in Pitt, 79 Neosho, Miami 77, Chanute still sitting at 86 degrees and nothing going on here. We have clear skies. We're going to see clear skies the next several hours. Then we'll start to get some clouds from these showers and thunderstorms out across north central parts of Kansas. They are heading in our direction, but they're going to weaken before they get to the I-35 corridor. So most likely we'll end up staying dry, but we will get some of the clouds in here late tonight into the morning hours. Big Dome of high pressure has been in charge, giving us the heat over the past couple days, slowly breaking down, and that will change our weather up just a little bit as we go through the next few days. Tomorrow morning, 76, 92 by noon, 97 by 5. You can see a few isolated thunderstorms late in the day. High temp right around 90 degrees, 99 degrees, which would be a record. The record high tomorrow is 95 degrees. So let's go through time. We'll stop 6 a.m., lower 70s. We have some mid and upper level clouds. Here comes our cold front. So this is by the noon hour. We're going to be warming up into lower 90s. The front slides in during the afternoon. Here's 5 p.m. Along the front, we'll get some isolated, very isolated, hit and miss little thunderstorms. These are going to quickly push through. The front works through. So by 9 p.m., the front is through most of the region. This is going to allow the cooler air to start to draw in as we go through the overnight hours tomorrow night. Then a band of showers to our north. So this is early Thursday morning. These are going to weaken as they push in, but I do think we'll get some scattered light showers by the time we head into Thursday morning. Here's 6:30, band of light showers move through, 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Then they're going to be gone. And then by the afternoon, a lot of clouds, but we're only going to be sitting into lower 70s for afternoon highs. So we're going to be about, 25, 26, 27 degrees cooler on Thursday compared to what we are going to see tomorrow. 99 tomorrow, first day of fall Thursday, so it's actually going to feel like it. We're going to have those morning showers. It doesn't last long, right back to 88 by Friday. 90 on Saturday, a few showers back in Saturday night. We cool back down early next week. So kind of a roller coaster ride, but at least by Thursday, we're going to break this heat temporarily, which is good.
Yeah, I love to hear anything when it gets cooler. I'm ready for fall weather.
99 any time of the year, not good.
Oh, well, thank you.
You bet.
Coming up, the special master meeting with both sides of the Mar-a-Lago raid.
Former President Trump's lawyers in court facing off against the Justice Department. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. What happened inside the courtroom next.
It's being called the largest COVID-19 related fraud scheme uncovered to date. The Justice Department announced charges against 47 people who say they stole from a pandemic program in Minnesota meant to provide meals to needy children. The DOJ accuses the defendants of defrauding $250 million from federal child nutrition program. Prosecutors say they claim to feed thousands of children every day through a nonprofit, but instead they use more than $250 million to buy luxury cars, real estate, jewelry, and fund international trips. Former President Trump lawyers and DOJ prosecutors were in court today, meeting with the newly appointed special master tasked with reviewing the documents taken at Mar-a-Lago last month. Judge Raymond Dearie is already making requests. The Justice of the Department is also making an appeal to the judge's order, which has halted the investigation into those documents. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has a closer look.
The legal battle between former President Trump and the Justice Department entered a new phase Tuesday. Raymond Dearie, a longtime federal judge tapped to review the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago last month, called for both sides to appear in a New York courtroom to go over the parameters of his review.
It's not clear which documents are classified, how many of them are classified, whether President Trump declassified them in any way.
Mr. Trump's lawyers argued they shouldn't have to say which documents the former president declassified because that would be part of his defense if the former president was criminally charged. And Trump lawyer Jim Trusty said that would go beyond Judge Dearie's mandate. The judge disagreed and said he was taken aback by that argument. At the same time, in an Atlanta appeals court, the Justice Department is fighting Judge Eileen Cannon's recent decision blocking the department's access to certain key documents they say are central to national security. Mr. Trump's lawyers say it's a document storage dispute that has spiraled out of control.
Remember, these are top secret, some of them. The most sensitive documents that could possibly be out there pose a great risk to the American public, and they have to do an assessment to see what actually happened here.
Judge Cannon gave Dearie until November 30th to review the more than 11,000 documents taken from Mar-a-Lago. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Still ahead, what the White House is now saying about southern states' efforts to transport migrants to northern cities. The White House today acknowledged the arrival of a new flight of immigrants to the northern east, pledging to work with the state and local officials to help them while declaring an, quote, political stunt. Those new arrivals are coming as Republican governors have pledged to put the immigration issues on Democrats' doorstep. Fox News correspondent Aisha Hosni has the latest from Washington.
A new flight of migrants Tuesday, this time arriving in President Biden's home state of Delaware. Meanwhile, a Texas sheriff has opened an investigation into two flights Florida Governor Ron DeSantis facilitated last week to Martha's Vineyard.
Somebody came from out of state, preyed upon these people, lured them with promises of a better life, and for what I believe to be nothing more than political posturing.
DeSantis on Tuesday firing back, saying cities that label themselves sanctuaries should be the ones taking responsibility for the current migration crisis.
They were provided an ability to be in the most posh sanctuary jurisdiction maybe in the world. If 50 was a burden on one of the richest places in our country, what about all these other communities that have been overrun with hundreds or thousands?
Migrants to Delaware, do you have any comment or response to that, sir?
He should come visit. We have a beautiful shoreline.
Immigration reform is once again gaining steam as a priority for congressional Democrats, but their wish list, including a guest worker program to fill worker shortages and a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, is unlikely to see much support from Republicans, who say the White House has failed to secure the border. Massachusetts Democrat Elizabeth Warren says the issue needs a more humanitarian approach.
Our job right now is to make sure that when people are here, that we treat them like human beings and not like political props.
Meanwhile, Border Patrol says they've made more than 2 million encounters this year, an all-time record. In Washington, I'm Aisha Hosni, Fox News.
Up next, we're going to learn how this charity broke a world record and fought child hunger all at the same time. A new Guinness World Record has been set for the world's longest line of sandwiches. Texas-based charity organization Tangled Charities was behind it, assembling more than 10,000 sandwiches. 1,000 volunteers joined to lend a hand and to be a part of this historic moment. Tangled Charities is no stranger to world records. The organization also holds a Guinness World Record for the most sandwiches made in 1 hour and another for the most people making sandwiches simultaneously. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The Joplin Fire Department will soon have a new station, but how are they going to staff it? We'll hear from officials. Plus, some local high school students propose some designs for a coffee shop. The city of Joplin will be getting its 7th fire station in the summer of 2023. KOM Jalen Banks shares what this means for the city.
As Joplin continues to expand, that means the fire stations have to cover more ground. The ideal cover radius for each station is 2.5 miles, which means Joplin will be getting its 7th fire station on the southeastern side of town, with funds from the 2006 public safety tax.
But when they expanded the city limits out to the east, the station that was covering that is Station 5 that sits at 32nd in Texas, right there next to Food for Less. And it just got to be where it was really a stretch for them to get out there in a timely manner.
Station 7 will cover the Crossroads Industrial Park, and being in the area comes with some advantages.
have direct access to the interstate out there, so we're going to put our hazmat group out there as well to be able to jump on either direction, whether we need to go east or west on I-44. They're right there. It's just a very short jaunt to get onto the interstate from there, so they're going to cover that area.
Expansion comes with staffing, and that is one hurdle Joplin Fire is facing.
If we were to hire those 2 individuals, we're still going to be 7 people short. So at the first of the year, we're probably going to be opening up another academy like we did just a few months ago, where we'll bring people in that have absolutely no training in the fire service, and we will provide all of that for them at the training facility we have here in Joplin.
Construction is set to be complete in August of 2023, with hopes to expand in the future. In Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
The station will be located at 6720 East 30th Street. Joplin city officials tonight discussed the city proposed budget for the financial year of 2023. One of the topics was the work session of the transparency with the citizens of Joplin. Some officials pointed to the failed proposition public safety as an example of how it is important that residents understand where exactly their tax dollars are going.
The budget process is an important time to learn about how tax dollars are spent. We want to be as open and transparent as possible in the way that we spend the taxpayers' resources. And so we encourage participation in our budget process. People that have questions are welcome to bring those forward, and we're happy to respond to those.
Since this is just a work session, nothing was officially decided tonight. Arvis Bank in Joplin today hosted a cybersecurity symposium. The Joplin Police Department give tips on preventing fraud and limiting cyber risk at small and medium-sized businesses. Organizers say it's important to spread these messages.
We really want to hit on training, the importance of keeping employees engaged and on guard, looking for those business email compromises is one of the biggest threats. So try to keep employees engaged, the importance of having an incident response plan. It's not a matter of having the mindset of if I get hacked, it's when I get hacked or when I have a cyber event.
Attendees also learn how to spot and avoid malware. Business students at McDonald County High School are getting the chance to build their own student-run coffee shop. Today they presented design ideas for architects for review. The students have been working on the plans for about a month now, and it will be located at McDonald's County Chamber's office building.
We are doing all the things from starting with nothing, like just a building, and we are having to find everything for it. We're going to have to learn how to work together. We're going to have to learn how to work with people, do good customers work with customers. And
School and McDonald County Chamber leaders hope to have the shop operational by January 2023. The global supply chain backup continues to hurt the auto industry. Ford said it'll end its month between 40,000 and 45,000 large pickup and SUVs it can't finish because it doesn't have all the parts. The company also noted shortages of rising prices, supplies, and it will cost an extra $1 billion this quarter. A study suggests seniors who had COVID-19 may have substantially higher risks of being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. In the study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease, analyzed information of more than 6 million people over the age of 65. Researchers discovered about 7 new diagnoses of Alzheimer's disease in every 1,000 seniors documented with a case of COVID-19. The study did not show COVID-19 causes Alzheimer's. Instead, it says it intensifies the changes already occurring. Head of states, diplomats, and leaders are gathering this week for the first all-in-person UN General Assembly meeting since the start of the pandemic. This year's meeting occurs amidst the escalating world crisis, economic and environmental concerns. Elise Preston reports from the United Nations.
World leaders gathered face-to-face in the halls of the United Nations, with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres delivering sobering opening remarks about the serious business at hand.
A cost of living crisis is raging, trust is crumbling, inequalities are exploding, and our planet is burning.
The Secretary General told leaders the world is locked in global dysfunction, spurred by the climate crisis, world poverty, and even social media. But he also pointed to hope, showing video of a UN chartered ship carrying grain from Ukraine to Africa amid the nation's crippling war with Russia.
Let's work as one, a coalition of the world, as United Nations.
Much of that hard work is set to be discussed on the sidelines of the assembly in private meetings between leaders. Some 150 heads of state and representatives are set to speak this week at the UN, but this year President Biden's address was bumped from its traditional second-place slot. That's to accommodate his return from Queen Elizabeth's funeral. President Biden is set to speak Wednesday morning, likely stressing climate issues and Russian aggression in Ukraine.
The main thing that we are coming back and we are on the way to the end.
Ukraine's president will be the only world leader allowed to address the assembly remotely this year, despite Russia's objections.
A bit later, home builders facing a growing issue.
The number of buyers backing out of new construction is skyrocketing. I'm Madison Allworth in Staten Island, New York. Coming up, I'll explain what this means for the future of the housing market.
Indigo. Well, of course, another hot one for us today. We've been hot really since last Friday when temperatures right around 90 degrees, and then we creeped up through the 90s over the weekend, and upper 90s most of this week. Looks good, still clear skies. It's warm out there. Nice shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. But you can see the hot temperatures, mid to upper 80s last week, 90s over the weekend, record high on Sunday. And then we've been into the upper 90s over the past couple days. You got to remember our average high even in July is only 92. So this is above our average high for any time during the year. It's 82 in Nevada at 77, in Monett it's 86, in Oswego, actually Chautauqua, 83 in Iola. So our temperatures are slowly going to drop off for us tonight. Clear skies, nothing is going on here, but just to our north and to our west, you can see the clouds from this little batch of showers and thunderstorms out across northern parts of Kansas. Even a couple severe thunderstorms within this line over the past hour. This is going to drop south and east. It should die by the time it gets to Emporia, but we will get some of these clouds working in a little bit later on tonight. We've been dominated by a big dome of high pressure, and that's why we've had the heat and we've been so dry over the past several days. We are going to get some changes in here, which is good. All right, by morning 76, 92 by noon, 97 at 5. I think our high is going to be about 99, which would set a record. You can see a few isolated thunderstorms late afternoon into the evening hours. So let's go ahead and break that down. We'll go into the morning hours, lower 70s, few clouds out there, in general okay. Partly cloudy skies by the noon hour. Here comes our cold front, slides in during the afternoon. It's going to be north of I-44 throughout the afternoon, so most of us will be on the south side, the hot side. You can see 90s, 97 Miami, 99 in Coffeyville. Now along the front, we get these isolated thunderstorms. They're going to be isolated, meaning very hit and miss, kind of pushing along the front as we go through the evening hours. I don't really think they're going to get much farther than I-44, and again, they're going to be very hit and miss. The front continues to push south overnight. Cooler air draws in, so by early Thursday morning, behind the front, we get a batch of light to moderate showers that kind of die as they really push through. I don't expect to get much more than 1/10 of an inch of rain with this batch of showers that are going to work through on Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, we clear out, but look at our temps. We're only sitting into lower 70s during the afternoon, and then by the time Friday rolls around, more showers to our north, but I think we'll stay on the dry side on Friday. All right, 99 tomorrow, then over 25 degrees cooler on Thursday. So it's going to be a huge switch. Thursday is our first day of fall. I think Friday looks okay. We start to heat back up, back to 90 again on Saturday with some showers rolling in Saturday night. So really temperatures all over the place, but 73 sounds a lot better than 99 that we're going to get tomorrow.
Ooh, 73 sounds way better than what we're going to get tomorrow.
Sounds pretty good.
So coming up in sports, honor roll in for a Missouri Southern distant runner. Plus, undefeated Riverton hosts a pair of CNC matchup. Danny Terzier has that and more.
Riverton Volleyball is 10-0 this season and currently ranked 5th in Class 3A. Today the Rams are hosting a CNC triangular. Riverton faces Girard in their first match. Rams start out the evening strong, beating the Trojans in straight sets, 25-17, 25-9. Next up, Riverton aims to stay hot against Columbus. First set, J.C. Thomason and Morgan Compton at the net for Riverton. They come up with the big block, 6-2 Rams. Pulling away with it now, Compton sets up E.J. Wells for the kill. Riverton wins the first set 25-11. To the second, Compton to Thomason. She slams it down. And later, here she is again. Tips it into the empty space. Riverton takes set 2 and wins the match 2-0. Missouri Southern distance runner Gideon Kimutai picked up right where he left off a few years ago as one of the top cross-country athletes in Division II. After the 2020 season was canceled due to COVID, Kimutai got injured and missed the 2021 season as well. On Saturday at the Southern Stampede, he raced for the first time since 2019. He won the individual title and set a personal record, running the 8K race in 23 minutes and 37.3 seconds. His impressive performance earned him recognition as the MIAA Cross Country Athlete of the Week and the National Cross Country Athlete of the Week.
It was a rough journey, but after the outdoor season is when I started my summer training, and I worked hard throughout the summer just to get back, just to get fit again. It felt really great to be back. After the 5K is when I was still strong, and that's the point. I told myself I can do it, and then I decided to go for it.
Neosho softball is on a tear right now. The Wildcats are on an 8-game winning streak, and in those 8 games, they've outscored their opponents 69-6. Neosho on the road today against Webb City. This one needs extras. The Wildcats score 5 runs in the top of the 8th and win 11-6. Neosho is now 15-3 this season and winners of 9 straight. In the MLB, the Kansas City Royals are home this evening, kicking off a 3-game series with the Minnesota Twins. Salvador Perez hits an RBI double to give the Royals a late lead. It's 5-4 in the 8th. As for the St. Louis Cardinals, they're 8.5 games up on the Milwaukee Brewers for first place in the division. Cardinals are out on the West Coast this week, beginning a series with the Padres tonight. Late start, San Diego's up 2-0 in the 4th. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
Homebuilder cancellation rates have more than doubled since April. Fox Business Network Madison Offer is at a construction site in Staten Island, New York, with what homebuilders are doing to attract new buyers to replace them.
Home cancellation rates have skyrocketed. Homes like the one behind me will be in the middle of construction when a buyer backs out. August cancellations were at 19%. That is up from 7% cancellations last year. People are backing out because a mortgage rate is typically not set until the home is completed. And as rates rise, a house that was once just within the budget may no longer be. Add to that higher labor and material costs, and you have a messy recipe.
What's going to do is it's going to create a backlog. And now these builders, we have mortgages, the builders have mortgages, they have construction loans. It's going to create a cycle of maybe a downturn going into next year. So we're very concerned about housing supply. There's a severe housing shortage in this country. We are, some say, 2 million units behind, and every year we're falling behind almost 500,000 housing units. It's a big concern.
The number of housing starts, or the start of construction on new homes, came in slightly better than what was expected today, but building permits were worse. So looking ahead through the end of the year, less construction is expected. It is the 5th straight month of decline, and we have not seen that many months of decline since January 2009 at the end of the housing market crash. When we talk about cancellations, home builders desperately want to get new buyers into their builds. That's why we're seeing them offer certain incentives to entice those buyers. Things like paying for the closing costs or buying down the mortgage rates to make those payments more affordable. There is concern that mortgage rates could rise even higher after the Fed's meeting tomorrow. In Staten Island, New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
Coming up, how a legendary rock band is helping to fight hunger and other issues. A legendary rock band announces a special concert to help people in need. An Emmy Award-winning actor returns to Broadway, and more. Here's Fox Ashley Dworkin with the latest from Hollywood Nation.
Give it some flair. The Belchers rehearse, Hayes gets an encore, and Metallica raises funds in the Hollywood Nation. Legendary rockers Metallica are hosting a third concert to benefit their All Within My Hands Foundation. The Helping Hands concert and auction will be held in person this year at the Microsoft Theater in downtown Los Angeles, December 16th. 100% of the proceeds go towards organizations the foundation supports to help create sustainable communities by tackling issues including hunger and workforce education. The band raised more than $1.8 million during their last charity concert, which was live-streamed November 14th, 2020. Sean Hayes is returning to the Great White Way, reprising his role as Oscar Levant in Broadway's Goodnight Oscar, about the life of the Hollywood Golden Age actor and musician. Performances begin at the Belasco Theater April 7th, 2023, followed by an official opening April 24th. The show made its premiere at the Chicago Goodman Theater earlier this year.
They'll do it. The play.
And Fox gives a double serving of sneak peeks in today's First Looks. The network released 2 clips teasing the first episode of Bob's Burgers Season 13, which features the Belcher family and their landlord rehearsing for a play. The Emmy-winning series returns to Fox's animation domination lineup Sunday night.
Encore! Right?
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining. We'll leave you with a video of a baby white rhino at the San Diego Zoo. Be safe. Doing this all again tomorrow. See you then.